Hey, Adrian in Madera, California. Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and with the help of my GoPro camera, I get to cut one of my favorite pairs of glasses. This is the Versace 4275 color GB1, which is the classic shiny black and the 58 eye size. Let me begin. Of course, you're going to get all the manufacturer's original packaging, including this box, your card of authenticity, which is in several languages. You can register your product with Versace if you like. Let's see, your Versace cleaning cloth, and the star of the show, the main attraction, your Italian leather Versace case, and boom, the Versace 4275 with the Medusas on both sides. Of course, it comes with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to protect the temples from rubbing together while it is being shipped from Italy. Hopefully my GoPro camera will pick that up. And of course, as I mentioned, you're going to get all the manufacturer's original packaging. Let me move some of this aside so I can work. But this is, oh, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? This actually reminds me of the old school Crizals. This is really nice, and I actually sell more of these with clear lenses in them than I do as sunglasses. So let me begin. I'm going to take out your original demo lenses, place those there. And now I'm going to take your frame and put it into the tracing element of my edger and hit, where are we at? Hang on. And hit trace. So everyone wants to know, how does the computer know what shape lens to cut? This is why. That little stylus pops up and it goes around and it's going to trace the inside of the right lens before doing the same thing on the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Versace frame and you'll receive one free pair of clear single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. My receipt has my federal ID tax number, so if you have vision insurance or flex dollars, you will get reimbursed for this purchase, whether they are prescription or not. Adrian in Madera, California, you know you need prescription. So that's all. Actually, you buy the frame, as I mentioned, free single vision lenses. Now, you did upgrade to the Transition and the Crizal anti-glare, but that's about it. So let's see, your pupillary distance, that is the shape of the lens we'll be cutting. Let me minify it down to the actual size. That green outline is the shape that we will be cutting. So let me magnify that while I'm working on it. Your pupillary distance for your right eye is 31.5. It starts at 32.5. I'm going to hit this little minus button. It goes down in 0.5 increments. We're at 31.5. I want to bring the optical center up to 27. We are good there. Ahead of time, I've gone ahead and put the dots on your lenses that tells me which way they are to be oriented in there. I'm going to place them on the platform. Now, this is a block, or as I like to call him, Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting, so I need to use a double-sided adhesive sticker for that, of which I've got some trying to sneak into the show. The black side is the sticky side. I'm going to stick one onto the first block, stick a second one onto this block. Now on the back is a little magnet. It's going to do its job twice tonight. The first time it's going to hold it in place into the arm here. Now, so let me go ahead and let it do that. I'm going to pull the paper away to make the black side sticky. I'm going to line that up into the magnet that is in there now. Now those three dots, if you can see them, that is your optical center. Those other two dots tells me that it's oriented in there perfectly, although it really doesn't matter for yours because you have no astigmatism correction. But force of habit, I do that. I get everything lined up. That blue cross is the geometric center of the frame. If you were to measure vertically and horizontally, that's dead center. Your eye is just above that in inset, so that is the optical center. I'm going to hit that button and the arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. We're going to do the same thing now for the left lens. Take this block, pull the paper away, make the black side sticky, put the magnet in there where it lines up. We're going to get that. And oh, actually, wait, your PD, your pupillary distance for your left eye is 30. So again, we're going to hit that minus button a few times until we're at 30. Same optical center as the right side. Get everything lined up just in there perfectly. And let's see, we're going to hit that button and the arm's going to come down and place the block onto the left lens. Now this is the edger. This is what costs $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. I recommend everyone go out and buy their own. Then you can cut your own lenses at home. You won't need this guy anymore. But the actual cutting wheel is over here on the far right. It's going to act like some heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your lens material. This wheel in the center with that channel, that little valley, that's what's going to put the V-shaped bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. Now I'm going to wake up the computer to show what lens I'll be cutting. That is it. These are polycarbonate lenses. If I would be cutting plastic, high index plastic or Trivex, I would select that, but we're going to stay there. I do not want to polish your lenses. I do not want to put a bevel on the front surface. I do actually want to move the bevel a little bit backwards on here for the best cosmetic fit possible. So let's go ahead and put the lens in. The magnet is going to do its job twice. It's going to hold it in place into the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I don't know the machine well enough to call it chuck. I'm going to hit the green arrow, which is start in every language. The door closes, the clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be traced by 2 white styluses, making sure that the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. You can see as it's going around, making sure that it's large enough. And it's actually seeing where to place the bevel, although I'm going to override this procedure by hitting the automatic button. This is your lens. I'm going to do a percentile, and I'm actually going to hit this minus button a couple times. I'm going to have 1/3 of the lens coming from the front with 2/3 coming from the back. But of course no one's going to see any edge thickness because of the thickness of the frame. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the green arrow. The wheel's going to start up, and then the lens is going to drop down onto the cutting wheel after the cutting wheel moves into place. Now if you see light flickering in the background, that is water. It's there to catch the optical sawdust as it comes off of the cutting wheel. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic, high index plastic, and Trivex cut wet. Now water will splash onto the lens for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle, and that tells me that it's getting towards the end. Now as I mentioned, your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is also virtually unbreakable. Your lenses are bulletproof up to .22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that you need to reapply every few hours when you're in direct exposure to the sun there in Madera, California. This is permanent and will never need to be reapplied. Now, I'll show you the transitions in a little bit, but you got the Crizal anti-glare coating. Let me grab a lens without that. Crizal is 3 features in one. As I mentioned, it is an anti-glare lens that eliminates glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain, but street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights. The second feature, it's an anti-reflection coating. That's why it goes by the initials ARC. So when someone's looking at you, they don't see their reflection in your glasses, they see just your eyes, so it makes for much better eye contact. Plus, if you take a selfie or if someone else takes a picture with a flash, you don't see the flash lit up in the lens, you see just your eyes. So the third feature that I like, which is the practical side, is it comes with the industry's hardest scratch coating. The scratch protection, because actually, if you notice, your lens is completely flat now, just like a nickel. If I were to take it out, it would stand up on the counter on its own, and now it's getting the knife-like bevel. Very dull knife like me, nonetheless, but a knife-like bevel. So actually, if you were to take your lens out, you could cut through a piece of wet tissue, providing you soak the tissue in a bucket of water overnight and then press down really hard. You might be able to cut through that tissue. But as I was saying, the scratch protection that's on the lens from Crizal, it takes well over 24 hours to vaporize more than 7 layers of coatings onto your lens. The machine that applies that coating costs well over $1 million, so because of the time and the expense, they put the hardest scratch protection possible to protect your time and investment. Now, the water has begun spraying onto the lens. As I mentioned, it does that for the last 20 seconds just to wash away any optical debris that may happen to be on your lenses. So this little arm is coming out. At the end of that arm is a little spinning wheel, something you would find at the end of a Dremel tool. That's what's applying the safety bevel to the back surface of the lens, the concave surface, just to make everything nice and smooth should you have any contact with the skin. Now we'll see if the lens fits first time around. I'm a little skeptical, but in a moment I will open this door with my mind. You like that? I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I can. It just takes me a couple hours, but I can do it. I just got to keep staring at it. So I'm going to dry your lens off and try and get that mounted. First time around, which again I doubt I'll see, so there's still a little bit of optical debris, schwarf as it is called. I'm going to remove that off the edge of your lens. You see it falling there? I'm going to collect it very neatly into one pile here on the counter. And once it's in one pile very neatly and carefully, I wipe it on the floor. Because I do that to tell kids that I went to school for years to learn how to make a mess like that. So kids, if you grow up and you want to make a mess, you gotta stay in school. So let's see if this will fit in first time around. I'm going to tuck the lens in at the outside corner, push down at the nose. Hey, and it does snap right in. How about that? I got lucky. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over to L. We're going to put that in there. We're going to hit the start button. Just like before, the door closes, the clamp shuts, and then it's going to trace. Those two white styluses are going to make sure the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. Actually, let me move the camera so we don't miss any of that. And you can see as it's going around measuring the shape of the lens. And the old carpenter saying measure twice, cut once. It's measuring the thickness of the lens at every point as I programmed it. I'm going to hit the green start button again, and it's going to come down and start cutting the left lens. Eventually it'll start cutting the left lens. And when it does, I'm going to keep working on your right lens. There we go. So this block is no longer needed. I'm going to take that off. We're going to come back down here. I'm going to grab my flashlight to the pupillometer. I'm going to put it in. Actually, let me darken that so you can see it. It's barely there. Let me hold it up to the light so I can see it. Actually, I got to hold it over something dark. Let me measure again anyway. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to find the optical center. I'm going to put a dot on that lens. And while I'm there, let's read the power of -350, which is your prescription. Now, the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. It starts at 0 and goes up in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on. So you're at -350, 3 times 4, 12. You're at the 14th rung of a ladder. You need 14 steps of far-sighted correction. You are nearsighted with your glasses off. Everything that you can get your hands on is pretty clear, but if you can't reach something, that's when you need glasses. 14 steps of far-sighted correction. Now, if you miss any of that, let me recap. Oh, feel free. Bad jokes with every pair of glasses made. So, that red dot I put on there, that is the optical center. I can go ahead and measure to make sure that's at 27, and we're good there. Now, you are actually identical in your left eye, which is rare. Most people are slightly different. You have no astigmatism correction. Also, astigmatism, well, let me back up. There is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. It'll fluctuate and come and go. This first number makes everything the correct size. Astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike. It's like the fine-tune knob. But you don't need any of that. You only need far side correction. And of course, no edge thickness whatsoever. That's why I always use the thinner, lighter weight material. Perfect finish on there. Let's see. Water is spraying on your lens, so it tells me it's at the very end of the cutting cycle. Out comes the little lever with the spinning wheel. And it is applying the safety bevel to the rear part of the lens, even though you have none that is protruding from the frame. I do cut some very strong lenses, and that does become more of a factor the higher the prescription. But I am a licensed optician here in North Carolina. So I know what I'm doing, and I make sure I custom order all the lenses to make sure you get the thinnest lens possible. Now if anyone out there likes extra thick lenses, I got a special on that, so just hit me up and I'll make sure you get the extra thick ones. Make you look smart. You'll fool people that way. Alright, so I'm going to dry it off and run my thumbnail around to make sure all that optical debris is gone. And of course I drop it right on the floor, because I do that because if anyone comes over, if they see a messy floor, they think you've been working, and that's how I fool people. So let's see if this fits in there first time around. I'm going to take the lens, tuck it in at the outside corner, then using my thumbs I press down at the nose. And actually, wait, is it going to go? Yes, it did go. And off comes that block. So let's come back down here. Nope, that dot's gone too. I'm going to have to put a new dot on there. Let's find the optical center. Dot up the lens there. Is that showing? Is that showing? All right, let me put some new ink in the lensometer. Hang on now, hang on. Put some ink in this thing. At the end of the day, it's running dry. Running dry. Now let's put the frame in there. Find the center of the lens. See if we can dot it up. There better be a dot on it this time. And of course the power, again, we're at minus 350, which is exactly halfway between 3 and 4. So that is cut perfectly. There we go. There's a red dot on there. So your pupillary distance is 31.5 in your right eye, 30 in the left, for a combined value of 61.5. I'm going to hold that card up. I'm going to place the PD stick against my right thumb, and then when we look at it on the left, we're getting 61.5, so that is cut perfectly. Now this is the time in every video that I mention that when you get these in the mail, Adrian, of course, free shipping anywhere in the United States, but when you get these in the mail, there is a small chance that these could fit too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side could sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other. I'm no different, and I'll show you in just a moment. But I'm going to get these in standard alignment first, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set them on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm going to take mine off and put them down. They wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. So because of that statistic, 99% of all optical shops do free adjustments. So just stop by your local place and tell them if it's too loose or too tight or crooked. It only takes about 30 seconds to a minute to adjust a pair of glasses properly. For those of you keeping score at home, I'm wearing the Versace, what are these? The 3199 color 5118, which is the blue and the tortoise. So let me put mine back on so I can see what I'm doing, yo. All right, flip this over, press down. There is no wobble. I close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do. Now, this is what your lenses look like clear. Let me clean them one last time. I'm going to provide you with one of my own premium microfiber cleaning cloths. Now, you're also going to get one from Versace. You're going to get one from your lens company, which is the anti-glare coating, which is Crizal. So you can end up with 3 overall. Now, I include instructions not only how to care for your frame and your lenses so they will last you for years, but I also include instructions on how to care for your cleaning cloth and your case so they will last you for years. I do field test every cleaning cloth that I ship to make sure that it works. So when you get these in the mail and there's a wrinkle in here, you know that it works. So I always laugh at that. I don't know why I get a kick out of that, but I do. But any day that the clown gets to laugh while he's at work, that's a good day at work. So this is what your lenses look like clear. I'm going to go ahead and activate them one time under a strong burst of ultraviolet light, which I got over here in the corner. Now, as you will see, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for transition lenses to darken. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside, 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now, Adrian, pay attention. This is important. All transition lenses will get dark on day 1. Give them 2 weeks of exposure to the sun, and they're going to continue to darken every day for the first couple weeks until they reach their maximum potential. After that, they will work for years without any problems. Now, the only time they won't work is when you're behind the windshield of a car. Your windshield has UV protection to protect your dashboard from cracking from sitting in the sun all day, and that's why they don't turn dark in a car. Now, if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, they will darken, or as soon as you step out of the car, but you have to have direct exposure to the sun. Now, the other thing you need to learn is that Transition lenses are temperature sensitive, meaning they will get darker when it's 85 degrees and below than they will when it's 95 and above. But I remind you, when it's 100 degrees outside, you're miserable, they're miserable. Nobody likes to work 100% when it's 100 degrees outside. So that is the first time they've been activated. Don't worry, they're going to keep darkening. Come on, we talked about that, Adrian, don't you remember? But that's it. If anyone has any questions, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com or simply click the contact me button through the website. So Adrian in Madera, California, hope you enjoyed watching as I cut. Got to find my flashlight. I got a smaller one, but I just can't find it. Hope you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription transitions gray lenses with Crizal anti-glare for your Versace 4275 color GB1, which is the classic shiny black, and the 58 eye size. This also comes in a smaller 56 eye size. If anyone doesn't want the largest frame, it does come in one size smaller. And hopefully everyone else has got a chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.